cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Relax and take notes.
You are watching a master at work.
OCO, freethinkers. The best teacher you wished you had in school. Have your pens and paper handy and get ready to take notes. You're now tuned into the realest historian on the planet. He's here to make you think. It's Dane Calloway.
Set it on fire. 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 Fire.
It's up.
All right, my mic was muted. Okay. Yeah, so we working on them kinks out, making sure everything's straight. First of all, I gotta make sure that y'all can hear me. Let's see. Yeah, hey, look, it's been a while since I've been live, so y'all gotta understand. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta understand. But we got a couple of topics that I want to get into. And I got everything set. You know, I'm just hoping everything goes well, so all videos are played at the right levels and everything. So I'm working that out right now. OCO, everyone. Thank you all for joining. Let me see. One important thing I do not have up is chat. Hold on 1 second, bruh. Out of all of this, I don't have chat open. All right, hold up. See, that 5 minutes in the beginning, critical. But the problem was the server. The problem was the server. Levante said, back here like we never left. Absolutely, brother. I'm grateful for the information that we get from Dane. I appreciate you, Levante. Been a member for 29 months in a row. Oh, there it go.
It's up.
I appreciate that, Levante. Blue Dream is in the building. She said, let's set it on fire.
Set it on fire.
Been a member for 20 months in a row. Yeah, man, we about to get into it. James Stone been a member for 20 months in a row. He also said, set it on fire.
Set it on fire. 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 Fire.
It's all good. Oh, nah, you good? You good, sis. I understood for sure. You was rapping on that beat? What up, Montana? Yeah, man. We what up, Amani? I need to make this chat box a little larger. But yeah, so it's like y'all can already see what the first topic is about, but I'm gonna be flipping through those. I got everything organized, so we're gonna be going in a particular order. You know, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I'm doing well. You know, I just had me a chicken sandwich. Now I'm over here on this water. I got 1, 2, 3 waters, no coffee, but I did crush some coffee earlier. Y'all should see the notifications popping up too. The Thunderbird will pop out whatever it is that y'all doing as far as the notifications, the Thunderbird will pop out, whether if it's a donation, a super chat. I believe the subscribers and of course people becoming members, it'll pop up. You're gonna see. So, all right, here we go. Like right now, Terrence, I appreciate that. He said, Alito family, OCO brother, how you? Been a member for 12 months in a
Set
row.
it on fire, fire, fire.
What up, Terrence? Dig'em, thank you for becoming a member as well. I appreciate that. Let me drop a bomb. Shout out to all the new members I didn't get a chance to shout out last times that became members like since the last time I live streamed, which was probably like a month ago, a month and a half ago, something like that. So let's I think we should be good now. Y'all can hear me clearly, right? Is the music too loud? We good to go, right? Everything should be straight, right? Yeah, if y'all could do me a favor and hit that like button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already done so. I will give you something to subscribe about. You know, over here on my channel, I'm mainly about providing information. Of course, my main topic is American history. And then, of course, I dab into world history. Another topics that I feel as though is necessary that correlate, especially with people here in North America and then the surrounding islands. You know, Joel, what's going on, brother? I appreciate that. Thank you for the donation. Yeah, it's a few things that's popping off. I don't want people to get worried about it or anything like that. I'm just here to inform you. You know, I'm not here to be scaring you about certain things or anything of that nature. That's not what I'm here for. I'm just, again, here to provide information. And in most cases, inside of my documentaries, I explain the majority of where I'm coming from inside of those. During live streams like this, I'm giving my take, you know, right off the top of my head. And then, you know, a lot of people say they like that because, you know, the most of the viewers are truckers or something like that. They could be out there doing their thing. They could be busy. They could be working. They could be eating. You know what I mean? They could be working at night shift, whatever it is. I really appreciate you all. Thank you all for your support over these years. It's been 9 years, right? I believe it's been 9 years. And it's either been 9 years or creeping up on number 9, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, and this, I mean, like, we're a couple days away. I mean, but yeah, that's why I was like, this year here gotta be major for us in general, you know. And I'm gonna get into that because I'm not trying to jump the gun because here I can hear it. I can hear myself about to jump that gun. But let me talk about these topics. Then I'm gonna talk about certain things that's already in motion for us as a people. And we'll go from there. First topic. Blue Dreamer, I appreciate that, Blue. Thank you for the 5 gifted. What up, Niji Warrior? I love you too, family. All right, so what we gonna do? So at the bottom, y'all gonna see that I'm gonna switch that up. As far as the topics are concerned, I'm gonna be switching those up. It says AZ. Thank you for the Cash App, AZ. I appreciate that. Hold on, let me drop a bomb. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is pop this up because make sure
In the week since we
right here. So let's get it. So the first topic of discussion is going to be about this particular interview that's getting ready to come up. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, guys, but I am going to be explaining what's taking place. If you guys don't know, Tucker Carlson, I'm not sure if his show is on YouTube, but it's definitely on X. And he's set to release an interview with a high-ranking Russian official regarding the recent developments involving the U.S. and Ukraine governments. Okay. Reports indicate that attacks on the U.S. have been ongoing. Like it was more than just one, which could compel Putin into retaliate in defense, And he's out there. Tucker Carlson is out there. And actually, he has in the past, I'm not sure if you guys remember that, but he has in the past sat down with Putin. He got a lot of backlash from the Department of Defense and a lot of other people that work inside of the government scrutinizing him about, hey, not sitting down and having a talk with Putin. But now he's back out there in which he's trying to, it appears that he's trying to stop whatever it is that could be happening. I mean, I'm going to go ahead and let this play so you guys can hear it. I hope this volume is clear. All right, let me see. Wait.
In the week since we left Russia, Moscow, where we are now, in February after interviewing Vladimir Putin, we've watched from the United States as the Biden administration has driven the U.S. ever closer to a nuclear conflict with Russia, the country that possesses the world's largest nuclear arsenal. It has accelerated ever since, and it's reached its apogee so far in the weeks after Trump's election. He is now the president-elect. In that time, just a few weeks ago, the Biden administration, American military personnel launched missiles into mainland Russia and killed at least a dozen Russian soldiers. So we are, unbeknownst to most Americans, in a hot war with Russia, an undeclared war, a war you did not vote for and that most Americans don't want, but that is ongoing. And because of that war, because of the fact that the U.S. military is killing Russians in Russia right now, we are closer to nuclear war than at any time in history. Far closer than we were.
Okay. Let me let it play. Let me
during the Cuban Missile Crisis. That would mean the elimination of Russia, the United States, and most of the rest of the world. We felt there must be someone behind the scenes in Washington working to make sure that this conflict doesn't become a nuclear holocaust. But we found out that no, in fact, there is nobody. Tony Blinken, the current Secretary of State, cut off all contact between the U.S. and Russian governments. There is no back channel, there is no conversation, and there hasn't been for more than 2 years. That's shocking. Meanwhile, most Americans have no access to any perspective other than that granted to them by NBC News and the New York Times. They don't know how close we are. They don't know the Russian perspective. We've been trying for over a year to get that perspective out to American news consumers. We've also tried for over a year to get an interview with Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. We've attacked that from a bunch of different angles. We've spoken to a lot of different people around him, had dinner with them. We've been in talks continuously, and those efforts have been thwarted by the U.S. government. The American embassy in Kiev, which our tax dollars pay for, told the Zelensky government, no, you may not do the interview. You can talk to CNN, you can't talk to us. So we've been unable to speak to him. So we came back to Moscow yesterday to interview the foreign minister of Russia, Sergei Lavrov, the longest serving foreign minister in the world. He's been a part of this government for 25 years. He's been in the diplomatic corps for over 40. And ask him, where exactly are we? Are we headed toward an unprecedented conflict between Russia and the United States? Is there any way to peel Russia back from the east, from the sphere of China, back into the west? Is that alliance permanent? And does the election of Donald Trump mean an end to this war, which is reshaping the world, the U.S. economy, the global economy, and risking the life of every person on this planet? Is that possible? We just walked out of that interview. It's absolutely fascinating. It's coming very soon. We hope you'll watch.
Okay. So the interview, apparently he didn't release it. I'm sure he got editors to chop that up a little bit to make it sound better. But once he releases it, like, I'm waiting for that one because I want to check that one out. I'm going to watch it and share it. Like, I don't like how this situation appears to others, like especially those who might think the worst could happen if they don't address this issue quickly. Like, I understand there's a sense of urgency here, but some people believe, okay, for example, some people believe that Donald Trump will handle this situation promptly once he is in the White House. Now, in contrast, others speculate that there may be a plan to prevent Trump from becoming president, okay, which would keep him from entering the White House altogether. So Of course, we're going to have to wait and see, but I believe Trump has previously communicated with Putin to prevent an escalation that could lead to nuclear war. So I believe that Trump assured Putin that he would take like all drastic measures to take care of this situation once he's in office, and probably will work out a financial agreement with them, because I suspect there's a money dispute that's primarily driving this issue. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the Biden administration sent over billions in aid to Ukraine, which not only threatens Russia and Putin, but it also disrupts their trade and commerce. And I think people are not trying to look at it that way. I mean, like, if you put yourself in that country's shoes and you see another country, about to outweigh you financially, that's kind of, wait, I'm at the top. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's threatening. They right next door to each other. So I believe financial negotiations could resolve this matter, and that no one has to worry about a nuclear war on the horizon, at least not right now. Okay? At least not right now. But in any, situation like this, I will tell my viewers it all traces back to the money. Like, when I do historical research on particular individual things that happen, here in the Americas, it's always leading back to the money. There's always some type of money being involved. Okay? Like, people ask me, why would they lie about, for example, Harriet Tubman and Nat Turner? I said it's a money thing. The number 2 money maker in the United States is tourism. Number 1 is this pharmaceutical industry. Number 2 is tourism. Number 3 is technology. Tourism is number 2. And people forgot about that. A lot of people would, create these areas to, put a story behind this area to get, make it a tourist attraction, because they will make cash money, and they have been doing that for years. But, and by the way, I'll, debate anybody on that topic, because I got plenty of proof and had put it out. So, but let's move on to another serious topic. I don't know how you guys are going to take this, but we got to play it. I'm not, it is what it is. We got to play it because it happened. So if you guys don't know, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed in Manhattan by a man wearing a black mask. The 50-year-old CEO was standing outside the Hilton Hotel when the assailant approached him and fired a shot and struck him in the chest. Okay? Now, the masked man carrying a gray backpack then fled into a nearby alley. That's according to reports. Then Thompson was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. They also said, according to reports, United Health Group was scheduled to start an annual investor conference. We're going to come back to that. Investor conference at 8 a.m. that day that he was, that he was deleted. Let me change that lower third because I'm not on that topic anymore. Let me quickly change that lower third. But yeah, that's crazy. It was right at the time.
At this very moment, there is a manhunt for the person who shot and killed the CEO of a leading health insurer.
It was right at the time when they were already putting up reports of how some insiders were paying each other off a money laundering case. I'm gonna get into that.
Brian Thompson was the head of United Healthcare for the past 3.5 years.
This was weird.
He was targeted
I was just about to talk about this, then this happened the same day. I was like, damn. Yo, they didn't want that to leak. I got a feeling he was a whistleblower, but I'm gonna come back to that.
This morning's premeditated attack outside of the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. That's a busy commercial area. Thompson went to a hospital where he died. Police are still searching for the shooter who had on a mask and was last seen eastbound on
This
6th
happened
Avenue.
yesterday, and they still looking for him.
It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes. And as the victim was walking to the conference hotel, the suspect approached from behind.
CBS News' Crime and Public Safety Unit Coordinating Producer Anna Schechter has been following all of this closely. So, Anna, what specifics do we have that indicate that this was a targeted attack?
Well, people were walking by the hotel while the suspect was waiting for those 5 minutes, waiting for the victim. He was hiding behind a vehicle so that he wouldn't cause suspicion. He was wearing a mask, and he clearly had experience using a weapon. So when the victim walked over from his hotel at the Marriott, just down the street, crossed the street over to the Hilton, just a few blocks from here, the suspect walked around the vehicle just as the victim walked past and shot him in the back several times. The first bullet
that's another thing.
Surveillance video.
Shot him in the back several times. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I never heard that before. Like, shot him in the back several times. Now, I did see a portion of this video, and I believe I included it in here so you guys can see it, but it's gonna pause right before the shots ring out because you know how YouTube is gonna act. But this was definitely by design. Like,
hit the victim.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That was an assassination.
The continued to shoot. We see now, we've just learned he used a silencer, so he
Look,
was ready.
He was right behind him right there in that picture.
Suppressor
on the right.
To quiet
and left
that
on the
shot
bike
just before pulling the trigger. And then he fled. He fled north on 6th Avenue, jumped on a city bike, and actually rode north into Central Park. And that's where we lost a trace of him. So security cameras picked him up on that bicycle going into Central Park, and he was very savvy because he knew to use that cover. There aren't as many cameras once you enter Central Park. And so he was able to, we believe, change his clothes and escape detection. And he is still on the run hours later. This shooting happened, remember, at 6:45 a.m. Eastern.
And Anna, as we understand it, Thompson
Shooting
was
him in the back is weird.
at this particular hotel. That's part of the level of detail that indicates that this was very well premeditated and planned out.
Exactly, and that the suspect knew the timing that Thompson would be coming over. It's actually pretty early, 6:45 in the morning, to head to a conference, maybe to have coffee. The shooter had that intelligence and was 5 minutes early, waited for him to walk by, and as soon as he passed him, that's when he took his shot, Lana.
Does that indicate something then to authorities about a motive?
Well, this is the big question.
They should know that that's an inside job.
You're a CEO of a major health insurance company, and your mind starts thinking about different.
Absolutely. They're certainly looking. This is a major corporation. The stock price is extremely high. There's a big pot of money in the healthcare industry, and United Healthcare has a huge chunk of that. So that is obviously, there are investigators looking at the white collar elements of this, but it also could be a personal dispute. All of these questions remain unanswered. There was a cell phone recovered at the scene. It is unclear if it was the suspect.
Right. Now, you're not the only one that's stating that. There's a lot of people out there stating that he got deleted because of that, because a lot of patients were being scammed with their insurance policies and stuff like that. But nah, think about that. That's an inside job. I'm not saying that wasn't happening, but with him, the way he was taken out, that was inside. That had to do with something else, not necessarily the patient. So I'm going to get into that in a second.
That forensic effort is now underway as well. Of course, investigators are interviewing the family that just learned of this shock today. And apparently he had been receiving threats, but he didn't deem it enough of a threat to hire security. So he traveled from Minnesota, his home in Minnesota,
I heard that,
to
right?
New York City without security, and clearly was.
So from Minnesota to New York without security, he was receiving threats. This happened yesterday. Notice she said that he fled on a bike, on a city bike, and they showed the picture. Do y'all know today that they backtracked on that statement? I'm gonna get into that.
Staying in the hotel
I'm
as
gonna get
well
into
without
that.
security.
Then where'd
despite
that
those
picture
threats.
come from?
CBS News New York is all over this story. Let's go to their coverage from just moments ago.
In New York City to speak at an investor
Now,
conference.
this was,
It appears the suspect was lying in wait for several minutes.
Wait a minute.
And as the victim was walking to the conference hotel, the suspect approached from behind, striking the victim at least once in the back and at least once in the right calf. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared to wait for his intended target. The suspect fled, first on foot, then on an e-bike, and was last seen in Central Park on Center Drive early this morning.
Notice that, y'all. Watch that bike. I'm trying to tell you, because now they trying to say he didn't leave on the bike. Keep in mind, this was yesterday.
Hold
on, we're going to catch
Roosevelt
up.
Hospital, where he was pronounced.
Those people don't
We've
know
been
what
in
happened.
touch with his family, his friends, and his colleagues, and they are very much in our thoughts and prayers. Investigative efforts of the New York City Police Department are well underway, and we will not rest until we identify and apprehend the shooter in this case. The women and men of the NYPD take enormous pride to drive down crime and violence in our city. Right now, we are
those bikes
asking
got GPS.
if you have any information
are,
about this case. Call
the bikes are owned by Lyft. That the company that's like Uber, rideshare company, right? They're called rideshare companies. Yeah, but those bikes are owned by Lyft, that company. Okay, and yes, they have GPS on them. They can be tracked. In fact, there was a guy, I'm not sure if I'm going to play this or not, but there was a guy that was on Twitter announcing that he dipped into, or I don't want to say the word hacked, but he hacked into Lyft's server, okay, did a couple of scripts so he could, calculate where everybody's going for whatever reason. I don't know why he wants to do that, but he showcased it that he has the information on this person's whereabouts as far as him getting away on that bike. And he said he was the only one that went towards that park as far as a bike is concerned, because of course they're being tracked by GPS on the bike. So he knows to and from and sent it to the authorities. But then they immediately I'm jumping ahead, but then they immediately came out with reports indicating that he wasn't on a city bike. Okay, I'm jumping ahead, but let me keep playing.
Stoppers, in this case, to $10,000. I want to be clear. At this time, every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack. Millions of people will be enjoying the tree lighting tonight, among other holiday events, and the NYPD will be out there with them, keeping them safe. For some preliminary details about today's tragic incident, I pass it over to our Chief of Detectives, Chief Joe Kenny.
Thank you, Commissioner. The information I'm about to give you is preliminary as our investigation is continuing. This morning at 6:46 a.m., patrol officers from Midtown North Precinct responded to a 911 call of a person shot in front of the Hilton Hotel located at 1335 Avenue of the Americas. This is between West 53rd Street and West 54th Street. At 6:48 a.m., officers arrive and find the victim, Brian R. Thompson, a 50-year-old male, on the sidewalk in front of the Hilton with gunshot wounds to his back and leg. Mr. Thompson was removed by EMS to Roosevelt Hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 7:12 a.m. Mr. Thompson is the CEO of United Healthcare and resides in Minnesota. Detectives from Night Watch, Midtown North Detective Squad, and Manhattan South Homicide responded to the scene and began their investigation. What we know is that the shooter arrived at the location on foot about 5 minutes prior to the victim's arrival. He stands alongside the building line as numerous other people and pedestrians pass him by. From video, we see at 6:44 a.m., the victim is walking alone towards the Hilton after exiting his hotel across the street. We believe the victim was headed to the Hilton Hotel to attend the United Health Group Investors Conference that was scheduled to start at 8 a.m. The shooter appears to be a light-skinned male. He's wearing a light brown or cream-colored jacket, a black face mask, black and white sneakers, and a very distinctive gray backpack. The shooter steps onto the sidewalk from behind the car. He ignores numerous other pedestrians approaches the victim from behind and shoots him in the back. The shooter then walks toward the victim and continues to shoot. It appears that the gun malfunctions as he clears the jam and begins to fire again. The shooter then flees on foot northbound into an alleyway between 54th Street and 55th Street. Once at West 55th Street, the shooter continues to walk westbound on Avenue of the Americas, where he gets onto an electric E-City bike and rides northbound on the Avenue of Americas.
I don't see how they could backtrack on this when it was just telling everybody that he
we
hopped
have
on
the
a
shooter
bike.
riding this bike into Central Park at Center Drive. At the scene, we recover 3 live 9mm rounds and 3 discharged 9mm shell casings. The motive for this murder currently is unknown, but based on the evidence we have so far, it does appear that the victim was specifically targeted. But at this point, we do not know why. This does not appear to be a random act of violence. We are seeking information from the public to help identify the shooter.
Yeah, he
As
did
the
say
commissioner
light
said,
skin
we have up to
earlier.
reward up to $10,000 for information. You're urged to contact Crime Stoppers at 1-800-577-TIPS. All information will be kept anonymous. Thank you very much.
All right, well, we're going to open up to a couple of questions. We're going to start off with
Yeah, it was a hit.
CNN.
So it's about an hour and 20 minutes before the start of the conference. Is there any indication that he was going to meet someone? Because it's pretty early. Is he on his way to meet someone there at the conference?
He leaves the hotel dressed like he's going to be attending the conference. We're working with his co-workers and other people that he planned on attending the conference with to get that information. But as of right now, he's in charge of the conference, so we believe he was getting there to help set up.
And then just the city bike, if I may. Do we know where that city bike is now? Does he dock it or does he keep riding it?
We're still tracking video. The last we see with him on that bike is in Central Park.
Is there a way to track that bike?
There are GPSs on those bikes. We'll be working with the company.
All right, we're going to move over. We're going to NJ Birkin. Thank you.
Chief,
Like, I'm trying to tell you.
Exchange, if so, what were the words?
Before they had this conference, they already have all of this information.
In an alleyway on his escape route. Does that appear to be connected to the suspect?
We're working through that cell phone. Obviously, we'll be processing it forensically. And as far as words being exchanged, we do not have audio of the incident. We only have the regular video.
But nothing from witnesses?
Nothing. Well, there was one witness standing right next to the victim when he was shot. We're still trying to identify that victim. Excuse me, that witness.
We're going to go over to Aaron Katursky.
Interesting.
Thank you. Chief, was he checked into the hotel across the street alone? Was he in the city alone? Was he accompanied by anybody? Did he have any known enemies or anyone that you've been able to find so far?
Like I said, we're reaching out to law enforcement in Minnesota, and we're also interviewing his co-workers and family members to see if there have been any specific threats against him in the past. As far as who was he in the hotel with, we're doing a search warrant in his hotel room right now. That might lead us, give us some more information.
All right, we're going to go over to Dean Moses.
A couple of questions. One, based on the surveillance, do we have seen?
But see, here's another thing that's standing out to me really quickly. Like, as if they don't know, but they in fact do know that there was a conference, an investor conference that was supposed to happen at 8 a.m. Now, apparently the situation happened between 6 and 6:45. I can't remember exactly the time, but I knew it was within that mark. Let's just say that he wanted to get there early to get himself something to drink, get himself together, to get himself prepared, go over the speech that he wanted to give, or something could have happened where the assailant was notified that he had to get there at a specific time to get rid of him. That's when he's going to show up to this particular meeting. Whatever it is, we don't want him at this meeting. That's what it sounds like to me. We don't want him at this investor meeting. With him being the CEO of United Healthcare, why wouldn't they want him in the investor meeting? Okay? That's how you know this was inside. And it's bigger than him. Okay? This time around, he travels from Montana to New York and tells his security not to show up. That's I need to hurry up and tell everybody something inside of this conference type of approach. Let me hurry up and do this. I didn't even notify my own security that I'm about to do this. I need to hurry up and leak this. I hope some news reporters are going to be there too. I need to expose the pharmaceutical industry for what it is the reason why they took him out. That's what it sounds like to me. I'm going to get to that in a second. I'm about to see.
Do you feel like this was a professional individual who took his man's life? And also, will it affect in any way tree lighting tonight?
I'll answer the part about whether or not he's a professional. That, we have no way of knowing that. From watching the video, it does seem that he's proficient in the use of firearms, as he was able to clear the malfunctions pretty quickly. But as far as the tree lighting, I'll leave that to Chief Magic.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Good morning, Dean.
Wait a minute. That's a big indicator. He ain't no rookie. They ain't send no little child to go take him out like how they tried to say they did with Trump. If they want you out of there, they're going to send somebody quick. The gun get and you back to it. That's on purpose. They ain't send no rookie. They sent a professional. It got to be done before 8 o'clock Eastern time. Silencer. You got to get cleared through the ATF to have a silencer legally. I mean, of course, the boys make their own now, but I'm just saying. Something specifically is going to be mentioned that I'm going to point out in this particular video. This is the reason why I'm not trying to skip up. Okay, because there is a few things I'm going to hear and I'm going to point it out.
This incident will not affect the tree lighting. The tree lighting is slated to start at 7 p.m. The show, the actual lighting of the tree will be close to 10 o'clock, actually 9:55 p.m.
A nigga died. They're going to talk about whether
massive police presence.
We don't care about him dying right there. We want to see some tree lights.
52nd Street all the way.
We want to see some Christmas lights. We want to be in the spirit. Meanwhile, you got illegal immigrants causing a whole bunch of violence out there in New York, and you want to hurry up and get people to go see a Christmas tree? After all that, New York? A damn tree?
Down to 47th Street, we will have plainclothes out there.
And it got to be the brother
out there
to break the news.
We will have our CRC assets, our strategic response group assets. We will have our intel division out there. A lot of assets out there to make sure people can come out and have a good time. And we're going to have additional police officers in the subways as well, so people can take mass transit to make it easier to travel into the city and enjoy the tree. This is a terrible event, but we're going to go on, and people are going
I took that like enjoy the smoke. But the way he said it, enjoy the tree, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
enjoy the tree lighting tonight.
Now he said tree lighting. Okay. All right.
I wonder if you could tell me, the mayor said that there was evidence recovered at the scene that would indicate that this was not a random event. I wonder if you could tell me what that evidence was. And by looking at the gun, it appears that there's a silencer on the gun.
He was shot in the back. That's how you could tell it wasn't a random event.
Not only that it was premeditated, but this is somebody who knew.
That's how you could tell it was premeditated. He was shot in the back.
Once again, we won't know that until we complete our investigation and identify the shooter or recover that firearm. You see a glimpse of the gun in video, so we're not able to make a determination on whether or not a silencer was used on that quick glimpse of video. We can't tell from that little glimpse of video. I'm not going to commit to saying that at this time. That will be part of our investigation.
Said it was a silencer.
There's a cell phone recovered in the alleyway, and once again, we will process that forensically and see if it comes back to this shooting.
That's a throwaway.
Once again,
the job is done. That's what happened. That's what that cell phone is here. The job is done. Out in the street. Yep. He's done. My money's there. Thank you. You lucky that joint ain't self-destruct.
5 hours old. That will be part of our investigation.
Joe Marino, New York Post.
That means he did something wrong. Okay? Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
My understanding is
he must have been working with somebody that's high up. Okay, the next person up will be who?
As of right now,
let me see some guesses
based on
in
the
there.
current video that we do have, it doesn't appear that they crossed paths, and he arrived in New York on Monday.
First name start with an L, last name start with an F. Go ahead, chat. Come on. Who next up?
Chief, did he typically travel with a security detail? And even though it's early, is there anything that indicates
I said
that
last
there have been
name
issues
start with an F.
Let's say a patient who was denied coverage either back in Minnesota or more recently, someone who lives here?
From speaking to other employees that traveled with him to New York, it doesn't
That's
seem
right,
that he had a
Saunders.
security detail. He left the
That's
hotel
right,
by
Benjamin.
himself. Was walking.
That's right,
Didn't seem like
Ethan.
he had any issues at all. So I don't think he did not have a security detail.
And as far as denied coverage, I know that's
it's bigger than
typically an
Fauci.
issue with these major companies. Any reason to believe he had been the subject of a threat?
Once again, we're looking at everything. We're looking at his social media. We are interviewing employees. We are interviewing family members. We will be speaking to law enforcement in Minnesota.
The only way you're going to catch this
I
guy
was just going to ask if any
is if they told this guy that he got to get caught.
look at any social media, whether it's the company, whether it's his personal social media, his family's. Is there anything obvious that sticks out at this early stage in the investigation?
We have not uncovered anything at this time. The investigation is still too early.
We're going to go last question over here with Jake.
How's it going? With the suspects still at large in Central Park, are you urging New Yorkers to avoid the park? Is the NYPD deploying its drones? I know they recently started doing that in the park. And then also I was wondering, is there any indication when he gets this city bike that he's a city bike member?
Okay.
Wait,
don't you? Wait. Do you have to be a member? Wait, see, I don't know. I don't use that, y'all. Do y'all have to be a? That's a very good question. Whoever reported that is, do you have to be a member in order to rent a Lyft bike? That's a very good question. I don't know. Now that's something. That's a very good question, because if I'm recalling correctly, somebody got to be a member, right? In order for you to, they got to know who you are in order for you to rent from them, right? Like you can't just go in as a guest and your name and information is not recorded. Like that doesn't make sense. Like I wouldn't even have a business like that where just any random person could get on a bike. Unless the person that has the account lent the bike to somebody else that didn't ride the bike. For example, if they find out that the account is up under some woman's name and they notice a man, then they're going to have to find a woman. Then they're going to have to, that would be something different, right? That would be something different. Then they're going to have to go down a different type of rabbit hole. But that's a very good question. They got to have an account with that Lyft bike, period. And it has GPS. Like that, I'm telling you, they had the phone call with Lyft prior to this meeting, this little conference for the news. Had to. That's the first people I'm calling. Hey, man, we looked at the video. He left on the bike. Hey, I got GPS. Call him right now. Immediately. It ain't no, let me hurry up and tell the news. They got on that. They know who this is. If they got him, they know who this is by now. Like, I seen that they just an update, posted an image of what he looks like. Okay. Just recently, just within about an hour or so, they posted an image of what he looks like. Now here's another thing. Of course, earlier in the video, they described him as a light-skinned male. He's Caucasian. I don't know why he said light skin. I mean, maybe that's how he feels. He's probably the type, I don't know, whatever. He's Caucasian. And not only that, before they release that photo, they already know where he is. Like, I mean, I watched too many movies for me not to know that they got that type of technology by now, where they can scan your face and scan everything else. They got the eye in the sky. Don't they got the eagle eye? This is New York. There he is. 5800 block of. There's no way. They know where he is. They know who this is.
The chief of detectives will answer the part about the city bike. But in terms of we're encouraging New Yorkers to go about their daily lives and their daily business, but to be alert. We put the picture out. You're putting the picture out. We want people to take a look. If they see anything suspicious, if they hear anything suspicious, we ask them to call 911, reach out to our detectives. With an incident like
If
this,
y'all
of
haven't
course,
seen
we
the
put,
movie Eagle Eye,
a heavy deployment into Manhattan. We put additional
yes,
resources
and
out. We
Edward
have the
Snowden
drones out. We
leaked
have
it again.
aviation out. We have K9 out. When
Why
an
you
incident
think
like
he ain't
this
in
happens,
America?
we don't spare any expense. We
He
put
wasn't
all of our
lying.
resources out there to support the chief of detectives mission and to keep New Yorkers safe. So we will have a massive presence out there
The elders in
around
the
tree
building.
lighting, but throughout Manhattan as well until more information develops.
Shout out
and
to
we're
Barbara
able to
Ryson.
support the chief of detectives and what he needs to make a quick arrest.
As far as where he got the city bike, we're still working that through. Like I said, we're pulling video from numerous locations, numerous sources, and we have him on our timeline walking. And what we're very fortunate is he has that very distinctive gray backpack on. So we see him on one video clip walking, and then another source of video him riding that bike. So we don't have video or witness confirmation on how he obtained that bike.
I mean, how else would he obtain it?
A cell phone was recovered. We will confirm that later on down if we, do our forensic examination.
Thank you, everyone. This concludes our press conference. Thank you for your time and attention.
New York City Police Department giving an
All right, here we
update on
go.
the search for the suspect they believe shot and killed CEO
no,
of
it's the
United
watch.
Healthcare,
You gonna say,
Brian Thompson, just before 7 o'clock this morning outside the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan. The headline of that press conference is that they are still looking for that suspect.
Come on,
Last
bruh.
seen wearing a
Joined
gray
the
backpack
company in
and wearing a
2004.
black ski mask. They're saying he was actually last seen in Central Park, and they do believe that this was a premeditated
He'd been the CEO
attack.
for a
little
minute.
bit about the victim, Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, which is one of the nation's largest health insurers with more than 100,000 employees. He was named chief executive officer back in April of 2021. And before that, he headed up UHC's government programs businesses, including Medicare and retirement. Now, New York Governor Kathy Hochul put out a statement saying that she has directed state police to provide the NYPD with any help that they need. And she added that her heart is with Thompson's family and loved ones. Thompson was based in Minnesota. Her office is committed to ensuring the perpetrator is brought to justice. Now, United Healthcare also put out a statement saying it is deeply saddened and shocked at Thompson's passing and that he was a highly respected colleague and friend. That statement went on to say they are working closely with police and their hearts go out to Thompson's family. So let's bring in Philippe Rodriguez, a former NYPD detective who watched that press conference with us. Philippe, what were your impressions of what police were able to reveal?
I was amazed by the level of proficiency of the individual that committed the attack. The fact that he was able to clear these jams in such an efficient manner shows that he is very proficient with firearms.
Exactly.
It shows the level of detail that it went through to be sure that he was able to escape from the scene.
Exactly.
We've seen that we're already starting to get a lot of forensic information, right? A lot of forensic evidence, how he was able to walk onto the scene. Then afterwards, after committing the actual shooting, go out and jump on the city bike. So there's a lot of information, and the recovery of a cell phone will be interesting.
That's another reason why he used the silencer, because if people would have heard it,
there's a few key
it would have
pieces
been
of
more
evidence,
witnesses.
as you mentioned. There's a couple of surveillance photos of
You
this
see what I'm
suspect,
saying?
as they
Of
say he
course
was
you know he
wearing
used
a
the
gray
silencer.
backpack, which is very distinguished looking, and dark clothing, is also
It
wearing
was
a
out,
ski
in
mask.
and out.
Two key pictures there, and
He
also
ain't
one
just
of the
anybody.
journalists
You
there at
gotta
the press
have
conference brought
ATF
up that
clearance
he
to
went
get a
on a
legit
city bike, and there is records
silencer.
if you indeed rent one of those city
But
bikes
again,
that
people out there make
potentially
their
could be
own,
used
though, so.
as evidence. What other pieces do you think stood out to you, and what else do you think that they're looking at maybe behind the scenes that they're not necessarily revealing to the press quite yet?
Well, the most important thing is recovering the cell phone from Mr. Thompson if he did have one at the time, and let's see what's in there. Did he, was he getting?
Oh,
threats?
it was his
We're
cell
gonna have to
phone?
go back to the company and also see that who's in charge, their director of security, to see what they could provide. I just can't believe a gentleman at this level, of such a huge company like this, not having EP executive protection with him, or at least a driver.
Wait
that
a
was
minute.
armed. So I found that a little.
I know I'm not tripping. No. They didn't make that clear. They didn't state that was Thompson's cell phone in that press conference. They said that they recovered a cell phone. They didn't make that clear. They didn't state that was his. Maybe he misheard that, because I don't recall them stating that was his cell phone. Not in my notes neither. I would have wrote that down. I know I can't be. I don't know why. I think he misspoke right there. Be honest with you. I don't remember them. Yeah, unless he slipped up. You're right about that. Unless he slipped up. I mean, he could be close to him. You know, I don't know. I don't know this guy.
You know, interesting. But we have to go back and see anything, you know, forensically, the threats,
wind that back?
anything like that.
Y'all didn't hear that?
It's going to be...
Nobody else heard what he just said? I'll come back.
See what they could provide. I just can't believe a gentleman at this level, you know, of such a huge company like this, not having, you know, EP executive protection with him, or at least a driver that was armed. So I found that a little bit, you know, interesting. But we have to go back and see anything, you know, forensically, the threads, emails, anything like that. And it's going to be a bit of work, but they'll get it done.
The suspect...
Okay, I think I might have missed it.
Was last seen in Central Park. Now, earlier we spoke to you before the press conference about just the complexities that come with looking in a place like Central Park. Obviously, a lot of wooded areas, a lot of little roads, and also a lot of roads to get in and out of for cars. So can you talk about sort of the complexities that come with Central Park and if that helps or makes it harder for police?
Well, you got to remember, Central Park is huge. A lot of people, you know, especially those, you know, from other areas that I haven't visited, it's almost like the heart and the lungs of the city. It goes from 59th Street, right, all the way to 110th Street, Central Park West, to 5th Avenue. It really is a big part of the city. And the way that this individual carried out the attack, I think, guess what? He might have had a couple of things stashed, a change of clothes in the woods. You know, it's almost like something out of a movie, which I'm amazed. The complexity and the way that this individual planned out this attack. So we're going to have to definitely get K9 and try to recover any physical evidence in Central Park. And we have to do it quickly before, you know, things could walk away.
Yeah, and it's interesting.
The hotel was only 10 minutes away from Central
Park. You got a bunch of bridges there, but that's kind of the only way you can get on the island, right? Or you can obviously take a ferry. So when it comes to searching for a suspect in the entire island of Manhattan, is it possible that police may have to close the bridges, or how are they surveilling those areas?
At this point, you know what's going to end up the CCTV footage, but I'm telling you, the way he planned this out, I can see him having a change of clothes, everything hidden somewhere in Central Park. Because he's aware of the cameras. That's why, you know what, he did have that mask on. That's why he's trying to, you know, hide his identity, trying to make sure that we don't have any facial recognition in place. Once again, this is one of the most detailed assassinations I've ever seen.
So we are learning that the shooter may have left a message on evidence found at the scene.
This is what we about to get into.
Thompson was gunned
this
down
happened today. This was
outside of New York City.
I'm glad they stopped it.
Police
because look, if you look, that's a silencer on there. So I don't know why they, you know, I mean, you got HD footage. Like, you know if he got that or not. And then on top of that, it would have been way more people. Look at the people with their lights on right beside them, sitting in their car. If they would have heard if they would have heard it for real, everybody would have reacted. They would have seen this guy. But with him having a silencer on, he coming from behind the guy. There's no way, bro.
Video showing Thompson in the blue blazer as a masked man walks up behind him, raising
and the way he leaned right there,
several shots were fired at close range.
He done already got hit.
I want to be clear. At this time, every indication is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack.
Right.
After the assassination, the gunman
we already
established
that
alleyway before hopping on an e-bike and disappearing into Central Park. Police are still searching for the man, releasing these images of the suspect taken at a Starbucks right before the shooting. And now we are learning some clues as to a possible motive found on evidence at the scene. According to the New York Post,
the pictures that they just released within an hour or so shows his face.
To include the words,
they already know who this is.
Depose and defend, written on live rounds and shell casings left behind by the masked assassin. The United Healthcare CEO was deny, depose, and defend.
That's a code, ain't it? Because that's what, okay, they saying that was inscribed on the shell casings that was left behind by him. Now, I saw that people were talking about that the encryption may be related to a 2010 book that critiques the insurance industry. The name of the book is titled Delay, Deny, Defend. Hear me out. The name of the book is titled Delay, Deny, Defend. I'm not trying to promote it, but I just want to point out the similarities here, because that book, they explore why insurance companies often refuse to pay claims, and then they offer potential solutions. Like, straight up, that's the subtitle of the book, what I just said. So that was, I just wanted to point that out. That's all.
Written on live rounds and shell casings left behind by the masked assassin. The United Healthcare CEO was in New York for an investors conference. He was a father and a husband from Minnesota. His wife telling Fox this, quote, Brian was an incredibly loving, generous, talented man who truly lived life to the fullest and touched so many lives. Most importantly, Brian was an incredibly loving father. The wife
already got a statement?
Sons, and will be greatly missed. She also told NBC News that before the shooting, her husband had received threats related to his job leading America's largest private insurer. And the shooting
she must be aware.
And several other
threats
senior
from
executives are reportedly under investigation by the DOJ for selling a combined
because wouldn't they say kind of sort of who would be
just 2
possibly
weeks before news of a federal antitrust probe went public back in February. Crime Stoppers is now offering a $10,000 reward for information on the gunman. And get this, the New York Post also reporting that the police obtained the suspect's Starbucks trash he threw away, Todd, so they may actually have his DNA.
Shanley Painter, so many unanswered questions. We appreciate it. Let's bring in retired New York detective Vincent Marr to try and answer some of them. As a retired detective, what evidence are you honing in on right now?
Well, right now they're doing a canvas of the entire area. They're doing a 5, 10, 20 canvas, which means a 5-block radius. They're going to pick every piece of forensics, every piece of video, every piece of audio evidence. Then they're going to expand that to 10-block radius, and they're going to expand that to 20.
They've been did this.
Anybody who's come in and out of that area, they're going to know who that person is. Facial recognition. They're going to go through trash cans, alleyways.
But those cameras way better than anything else.
This new DNA evidence possibly is going to be a serious case breaker, especially if the DNA is on record. They also recovered rounds.
New York
can be traced back to
a lot of cameras, tons of cameras.
So they have a lot of good clues to start their investigation on and going forward. So it's a good start, but it's going to be a long.
You think the bag has to change of
clothes? In your
experience,
though, what's jumping out to you as, ooh, I want to find out more?
That's
about
a pretty
this
large
piece of
pistol
evidence,
too.
that
It
piece
looked
of
like
evidence,
a
as sort of
1911 with a
that could
silencer
bring
on it.
everything together and ultimately find this shooter.
Well, we believe, the public believes, and based
Don't
on the
ask
video,
me how I know.
possibly a silencer was used on the weapon. Now that's a huge piece of evidence, because silencers are not something you just go in any gun store and purchase. You have to file for a federal tax stamp to own that silencer.
ATF.
You have to get an ATF background check to purchase that silencer.
Exactly.
That's if it was purchased legally. Now, again, they're going to go through all the records. They're going through all the records of that right now.
You can make
the
your own
ATF, I'm
silencer.
sure. But unfortunately, there's also, thanks to YouTube, people can't create their own silencers, their own makeshift homemade silencers.
You ain't had to say YouTube. You had like what the
silencers can be hard.
What was that
to
about?
From the moment we heard about this crime, everybody wants to know why. Why did this happen? So how do police in a situation like this begin to whittle down the possible motives? We have these bullet shells reportedly with words written on them or engraved in them. We have an investigation by
that
the
just goes to show y'all YouTubers is out there showing folks what to do. They watching.
We also have an industry, insurance,
that ain't me. Y'all see my channel. Like, I'm taking up for myself right now.
Probably had a
but
problem
he specifically said YouTube, so
at one time
number
or
two,
another.
YouTube is the number 2
If
search
ever,
engine in the
led
world.
to
So.
somebody trying to
And
kill
Google
an
number
executive
1
at said insurance company. And again, we're not saying that's what happened here, but it certainly has led to speculation. So how do you begin to whittle down the possible motives in an effort to find this shooter?
Well, being that the attack looked seemingly so precise and so particular towards an individual, it obviously looked like it was planned. You're going to go through your MSRs as far
Yellow
as
Ham OCO.
That MSRs.
OCO to everybody that came in and subscribed and hit the like button too. I really appreciate that you all.
Going to go first.
You know I don't be asking y'all to do all of that, but now I'ma have to. You know how they are.
I'm not
and you know
saying
who
it
I'm
is,
talking about.
But I know the detectives are really pounding the pavement and going down those avenues, as well as every other branch of the evidence tree to try to find out what was the motive of this.
Are you confident they will catch this shooter? And based upon the evidence,
I mean,
when do you think they'll catch him?
I don't think. I mean, the only way they gonna catch him is if he was supposed to get caught.
I know that the New York City Police Department detectives are, as they say, and are they known, are the best detectives in the world. I worked with some of these homicide guys when I was on the job, and the homicide guys are the best of the world. If anybody's going to find out and get to the root of this evil, it's going to be them.
They ain't the Delta boys.
There is a
they ain't the best in the world,
now,
okay?
Your former colleagues have to connect the dots
the Delta,
to find out who did this.
You ain't
why.
the best in the world, bro.
On this case
you better put some respect on the military. You can't do that. But anyway, so yeah, okay. So basically, that evidence, they're working on that. All the investigators are working on that currently right now. They still haven't caught this guy. I'm still looking as we speak right now to see if they're going to catch him. Okay, because again, if they catch him, he was supposed to be caught. Now they also reported that he purchased a coffee and a water bottle and a Powers bar at the Starbucks before discarding the items in the trash can. So they're going to have fingerprints right there. Unless he wore some type of gloves, who knows? I mean, what if he know what he doing? See, they ain't saying none of that. Now, they also said that they discovered a phone in the nearby alley, which, you know, some reports saying that they believed belonged to the shooter, but the other guy was saying that it belonged to Thomason. So they're going to have to, maybe they did that on purpose. I'm not sure, but there's multiple reports saying separate things right now. Okay, now, of course, a lot of y'all was saying that it was, you know, done on purpose, and nobody really understands why. Now, I see that a lot of reports were coming out stating that this was done because he was going to snitch about an illegal money laundering scheme that was taking place behind closed doors between the pharmaceutical companies. Okay, he was supposed to go. I'm about to show y'all something else too, because this was brought up slightly before this took place by a couple different sources. I'm gonna have to verify other few, and then I saw this right here. Okay. I saw this. I'm gonna have to zoom it in. Alex Jones said, he tweeted, he said, dead men tell no tales. And it was followed by an article titled, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was facing DOJ probe for insider trading when he was killed in a targeted NYC shooting. And I was like, damn, that's really actually matching up with a few other things that I'm gonna still have to verify, but that's very close. Like, they feel as though he was about to come to this. Now, keep in mind, they indicated, according to their original reports, they indicated that this was an investor meeting. He's the CEO of one of the if not the largest healthcare company that works closely with BlackRock, by the way, hand in hand, that he was on his way to that meeting at 8 o'clock coming from Montana to New York. That was orchestrated. There's no way that an employee or somebody higher than him as being the CEO of a company, that don't mean that he owned the company. That don't mean that he controlled the company. That just means that he is the operations manager. That's it. He don't own that joint. CEO got a boss with those type of companies, especially in that pharmaceutical industry here. Now, when he was supposed to be into this investing? Who? When BlackRock owned y'all, who else going to be the investor? See, that's what another, I'm going to point that because that's true. Anybody could look that up, but that's not trying to throw speculation at Larry. I'm just saying, but something was wrong. Something. What you doing having an annual investor conference in the middle of the week, 8 a.m.? This happens annually. What's so different about this one? But that's why a lot of those other reports were indicating that he was getting ready to, and that's why they're interviewing, a lot of his coworkers that were there. They're not trying to indicate that they were there, but they were. Because why would he have a meeting by himself out of state? Okay, so they know the reason why. I'm sure he told multiple people already what they were up against. With him as a CEO, even his wife know. Because she put out that statement really quickly. Like, I mean, I don't know what, I'm not trying to look into this. Maybe y'all could call this particular part a stretch, but why would she be, giving a statement that fast? Like, that's kind of quick. Ain't you grieving? This just happened yesterday. I don't know. I mean, maybe I don't know, But then again, she did mention that he was already receiving threats. Like, the next question would have been from who? So apparently she know. Okay. And maybe the news know too. What if they all in the bed together, which some of y'all may say, what if I'm gonna play with that, but what if they all in bed together, including the news, and know what happened? And maybe he was going against the grain and about to make it known and blow the whistle right there, 8 o'clock. They had to take them out. And they sent somebody professional. When I said the number one money maker out here is the pharmaceutical industry, ain't nobody close. They even paying Congress. That's why I did, and I'm going to get into this. I did like the fact that Trump put Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in front of the health part, but it's a couple other moves that ain't nobody talking about because they did not like, and I'm gonna point out why later on. And how long later on? I'm gonna do it way later on because there's a few other things I want to get into. Let me get into the next thing real quick. Let me change that lower third. All right. So the next thing is this.
President-elect.
All right. So we're going to talk about this is the Chicago mayor. The Chicago mayor, his name is, Brian Johnson. He criticized Donald Trump, calling him soft and small. I believe he said in his order, he said small and soft for his stance on illegal immigrants. Y'all need to hear what he said. I'm going to be honest, this is a disgrace. Before I even play that, like, Chicago, y'all be having some bad mayors. In DC, y'all too. Like, I mean, and then these fools got to be brothers at the same time. This is embarrassing. But anyway, he said that Donald Trump is targeting illegal immigrants, which he should be. I mean, because millions came into America. That should not be here, right? What are you doing? Like, what? He said that Donald Trump has the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives and judicial branches. He said that Donald Trump has more power than any other president probably had in a long time. Okay. And Chicago's mayor urged Trump to use his significant power to address key issues such as, climate change, reparations, and immigration reform. Ain't that opening the door for them again? Ain't that making them easier for them to come in the United States? Immigration reform? Ain't that what he trying to? Okay, let me play the video, bro. Like, I can't believe this fool, bro.
President-elect Donald Trump has the White House. He has the Senate. He has the House of Representatives. He has the judicial branch. Right now, President-elect Trump has literally more power than any president has had probably in, oh my God, how far can we go back?
What?
Decades
Okay.
and decades.
Like, you make
with that
that
amount of absolute control. With all of that power, not addressing reparations in this country, not addressing public education in this country, not addressing climate change in this country, not addressing real substantive policies around immigration reform. He doesn't want to do any of that with all of his power. He wants to create a structure and a system where there is upheaval and chaos. It would be a waste of power if he were to go down that route. In fact, it would be small and soft.
Wow.
The president-elect should get big and large and strong like we are in Chicago.
What? Hold on. What? Now, I know Chicago think this fool right here crazy. I know Chicago. I know better than that. I don't even got to ask y'all. I know better than that. It would be disrespectful to ask y'all. Like, there's no way. How did he become mayor? How did he become mayor in Chicago? Now some people argue that he right. They think that Trump should use his power to address other issues facing the country. And their eyes, issues like climate change and reparations for who? You ain't mentioned none of that. And then immigration reform are important. They are. However, there are other people who believe that Brandon is wrong and that illegal immigrants entering the country should be sent back to their home countries. They feel this approach will help solve problems related to unwarranted violence. Ain't that happened in Chicago? And disparity in available jobs. That's another thing. This fool is blind. If I were president, the first thing I do is take care of home first. Like right here in America, because the cost of everything is up by like 50%. More than what it was 4 years ago. And people not receiving the right amount of compensation to make up for them high prices of everything. Okay, right now. And I gotta play this. This fool here, I'm gonna play this video. This same Chicago man, his name is Brandon Johnson, and if I didn't already say that, he had a council hearing, okay? And things got heated. I'm about to play that video. I gotta play this video.
Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first. Please come here first, because you know what? We're going to help you. We want a forensic
Ma'am, I would ask that you keep your, hold on a second, stop her time. Stop her time.
You told Trump you ain't gonna blink? Well, we ain't either. You ain't above the law. And where you gonna run to when Trump pulls that Trump card out on you?
There's a 10-year prison sentence when you want to stand up here for those illegals.
Right. You standing up for illegal immigrants. Like, bruh, that look bad as hell.
So, Brandon, you and all these Democratic mayors out here and governors, y'all talking about crashing out for these illegals, right? You all sit up there and said you will not allow Trump to come in here and get these illegals. Yeah, you can smile. We're in $1 billion deficit. And you spent half of our money, half of that on illegals. You campaign and double down. That
Same
you
thing in New York, by the way. We're gonna get into
taxes. I ain't gonna do that. You campaign went around doing that. And here we are right now. You wanted to raise our taxes $300 million. They shut it down. Now we back here for $150 million. Okay. See, this is what we asking now. Since you want to crash out, some of y'all say y'all willing to go to jail for it. Trump, Tom Homan, make an example out this Negro right here first. Please come here first, because you know what? We're going to help you. We want a forensic.
Ma'am, I would ask that you
We want a
keep your,
forensic.
hold on a second, stop her time. Stop her time. Just a second. Stop her time.
He right there standing up.
I would ask that you, if you want to continue speaking, you have to make sure that your language is appropriate, okay?
She ain't saying what? She ain't even saying curse word.
Okay, you can begin her time again.
You're going to spend our tax dollars to go, Michael Rodriguez, you said to take Trump to court to protect these illegals. You said you're going to spend our tax dollars to take Trump to court to protect these illegals if they try to come in your district. And then you said all of y'all in cahoots with each other to do it. Okay, so now we about to make y'all famous. We're gonna let all y'all constituents know who y'all ratting for, that y'all wouldn't spend our tax dollars to protect
them illegal immigrants
and to get them legal services. So that's what we're doing. That's cool, because we about to make all of y'all aldermen famous. Y'all think this is how it's gonna rat? I think not. Flip Chicago red. We not playing.
Oh man, hey.
Our next speaker this morning is Miss Lawrence.
Now let's get down to Tom Homan and 8 U.S.C. 1324. Different editions of 1994, 2020, 2021, and 2022 about you harvesting aliens. And you so strong about protecting those aliens, but you won't do nothing for the U.S. citizens. We are the ones who pay your salaries. Salaries! Let me accentuate on that. But yet, you want to overlook us like we don't exist.
Hey, Chicago
well, you're
ain't
not going to exist for the next election. Because there's a 10-year prison sentence when you want to stand up here for those illegals.
Our next speaker is George Blakemore.
Brenda Johnson didn't bring this doo-doo here. It's been here. Old Man Daley, Harold Washington, Richard Daley, Lady Lightfoot. This man did not bring this doo-doo in this room. It's been
I'm gonna tell
here.
you right now.
And you've been voting for this.
They not getting federally funded.
Well, maybe
anybody that accepted to help the immigrants, that came from state funding.
All Democrats.
They in the hole right now. Same thing with New York.
So some of y'all get up here and spit in this mic and holler, it's been this way. This is nothing new under the sun. Now, how are you going to get rid of all of them? All of them, and make it happen, make it work. I don't think you're going to do it just holler and go red. I think you're going to have to have some strategic aims to clean this doo-doo up. This is old doo-doo. This doo-doo goes back a long time. And you don't smell it now because it's dry, but you can see the results of it. It needs to have a change here.
Said,
all of them are the same.
You can't smell it now because it's dry.
Stay in the microphone, Mr. Blakemore. Stay in the microphone.
A revolution to change this system and clean it up and have a real democratic system, a democracy where you have different points of views. Everybody here is the same doo-doo. All of them. Have you ever seen a bad house?
Thank you very much for your comments. However, your time has expired.
Okay.
Our next speaker is Mr. Cruz.
Morning.
Today I stand here as a concerned citizen to speak out against the leadership of Mayor Brandon Johnson, a leader whose actions and affiliations are doing a disservice to our once great city. Under the current mayor's administration, we've seen a disturbing trend. A mayor more concerned with pandering to special interest groups and non-taxpayers than with making the tough, necessary decisions to move the city forward. Mayor Johnson's leadership can be defined by demagoguery, fueled by progressive rhetoric and driven by a divisive agenda that plays to the lowest common denominator rather than striving for unity, fiscal responsibility, or the common good. We do not need progressive revenue initiatives. We have an addiction to spending, and it must be fixed immediately. The CTS budget in 2010 was $5.3 billion, roughly $13,000 per student to educate. In the 2025 budget, the budget for CPS is $10 billion, or $31,000 per student. When is enough enough? That's the cost to go to the University of Illinois. What's more troubling is the mayor's blatant disregard to address the rising costs of living, worsening infrastructure, and mounting public debt. His proposal to raise property taxes was egregious and was lost by 50-0 vote. He and his supporters refused to give in on the sanctuary status when we've spent over $600 million on migrants this year, while Chicago is basically insolvent.
Wait, $600 million?
Our next speaker is
in
David
1
Mason.
year.
Yeah, you remember me, Brandon Johnson, from the PBC meeting, and you know I'm standing on business. Here you are with another gritty property tax hike, trying to push the have-nots to house your precious illegal immigrants. You told Trump you ain't gonna blink? Well, we ain't either. You ain't above the law, and where you gonna run to when Trump pulls that Trump card out on you? I will make it my duty to try to get my gun to perform an Operation Great Lord 2.0 in Chicago and lock all of you crooked Democrats and judges up, and it's just like that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the fact that they calling him out, though. You know, they called him out for what it is, but he not the only one, because keep in mind, this is happening in New York as well. Anybody that accepted illegal immigrants, the majority of the money was coming from the residents. Y'all's taxes. And the New York mayor is not any different. Now, just recently here, the New York City mayor, his name is Eric Adams, he told the reporters to cancel him because he's now fed up with the migrant crisis. Now he is. Let me change that lower third real quick. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, all right. I wonder what made him have a change of heart. Let me play the video.
Those who are here committing crimes, robberies, shooting at police officers, raping innocent people, have been a harm to our country. I want to sit down and hear the plan on how we're going to address them. Those are the people I am talking about, and I would love to sit down with the Board of Czar and hear his thoughts on how we're going to address those who are harming our citizens.
You're open to that?
Open to
hearing what their plan is to deport some of these folks, and you think the city, in some circumstances, should cooperate with ICE.
Let me. You know what's interesting? And I was talking to the team the other day. I want you to all go back and Google Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Google what they said about those who commit crimes in our city and what they said in our country. They said those who commit crimes need to get out right away. That was their position. So this is not a new position, you know, because in the state of in the era.
Hold on. Stop. Now, most of you can recall me covering the news when this fool right here approved financial aid for immigrants and their families. I remember that, right? He was providing them upwards of it was like thousands of dollars per family in New York City. Now it could be more than that, okay? Because I'm not near the exact figures right in front of me, but what we know is that these families received more assistance than those on welfare and even the veterans, okay, who have served this country. And I covered that. Now, he has since changed his stance on that note by eliminating that aid program for those migrant families. I want to say it was either right before Trump became president Like, you know, that they said, or they announced that he was president, or it was like soon after they announced that he's going to be the new president. One or the other. It was rather like it was right there within that bracket. And so he changed his mind. So he eliminated that aid for those immigrant families. Okay? But I want y'all to understand, he only did that because that's only because after the city didn't receive financial aid from the federal government. This New York mayor right here, Eric Adams, placed y'all in the negative by $6 billion that you do not have. $6 billion. But now he turning it around, okay? Now he turning it around after he's $6 billion in the hole because he gave that money to them illegal immigrants. I'm just saying. Now you want to turn Republican? I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. Now you going, because listen, let me play that one more time. Listen, that's what it sounds like to me.
Those who are here committing crimes, robberies, shooting at police officers, raping innocent people,
listen to that,
have been a
after all of that.
Our country.
No,
I want to sit down and get a plan on how we're going to address them. Those are the people I am talking about, and I would love to sit down with the Board of Czar and hear his thoughts on how we're going to address those who are harming our citizens.
You're open to that?
Open to
hearing what their plan is to deport some of these folks, and you think the city, in some circumstances, should cooperate with ICE.
Let me. You know what's interesting? And I was talking to the team the other day. I want you to all go back and Google Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. Google what they said about those who commit crimes in our city and what they said in our country. They said those who commit crimes need to get out right away. That was their position. So this is not a new position, you know, because in the state in the era of cancel culture, no one's afraid to be honest about the truth. Well, cancel me, because I'm going to protect the people of this city. And if you come into this country, in this city, and think you're going to harm innocent New Yorkers and innocent migrants and asylum seekers, this is not the mayor you want to be in the city under.
Okay. Your boy done went Republican, sound like, or what they call it, conservative. He sound conservative to me. I'm talking about flip the script. Like he's almost like a, I don't know. He flipped it though. And just in case, you know, if y'all curious about that, I'm gonna go ahead and play that video where he was talking about everybody to Google it, because one video where he's referring to was Hillary Clinton back in 2008 during her campaign to become the Democrat Party's presidential nominee. She was up against Obama at that time too. I'm gonna play that one, and then behind that it's gonna play I believe that was 2008. Hold on. Yeah, they're going to play Obama. It's going to play Obama. And I believe that was 2008, but he was still the senator at that time. He wasn't the president. So I'm going to play that right now.
So I think we got to have tough conditions. Tell people to come out of the shadows. If they've committed a crime, deport them. No questions asked. They're gone. If they've been working and are law-abiding, we should say, here are the conditions for you staying. You have to pay a stiff fine because you came here illegally. You have to pay back taxes, and you have to try to learn English, and you have to wait in line.
Interesting.
We are a generous and welcoming people here in the United States, but those who enter the country illegally and those who employ them disrespect the rule of law, and they are showing disregard for those who are following the law. We simply cannot allow people to pour into the United States undetected, undocumented, unchecked, and circumventing the line of people who are waiting patiently, diligently, and lawfully to become immigrants in this country.
Yeah, sanctuary cities. Yeah, because see, they call the mayors like sanctuary mayors. Yeah, that's how they do it. These little titles that they come up with. Yeah, that's Barry. Yeah, I know what's going on. I mean, okay, so as far as them not saying that before, they have, just in case, people didn't get a chance to see it. Now they see it. But, with that New York mayor, Eric Adams, flipping the script, he trying to say, hey, they did it. I could do it too. I guess he trying to toss the blame because he's flipping it, because that's not exactly how he was acting at all, even economically, during the past couple of years. New York has seen an increase in violence involving illegal immigrants, a huge amount. And many residents have expressed their concerns about it, just like what they were doing to the Chicago mayor. They were putting pressure on Mayor Adams also out there in New York to take action. Now, again, what y'all know in this could this be the reason for his change of heart? Okay, could that be the reason? Just because he in a hole and he feeling all guilty about letting that happen, because he was backing them illegal immigrants up. And is this why he now wants to collaborate with Trump and his team? And see, I was going to get into one of them, but this one, YouTube was probably going to act funny, because I want to talk about just two so far major concerns that I have with a couple of picks that he picked. And one of them was the secretary for the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem. I have a video, and I'm not sure how exactly YouTube is going to take that video based off of what the topic is about. Of course, we could say the word, but I will be conversating about it and showing more things on the screen. And I just got a feeling that they're going to have an issue with that. So what I'm going to do with that portion is make that its own video where I could edit that down enough to where I know they're not going to play with it, because I'm live. And I'm more liable to get on their nerves when I'm live. Like they, you know what I'm saying? They'll either take it down, suppress it, whatever. You know how they act. But yeah, I already went over it in Discord. Actually, the folks, shout out to the 13% community server. They fully aware of the video. I played the video and everything. We exclusive over there. If y'all wanted to join the community server, it's free. Shout out to the 13%. I'm just saying. But they been knew about it. And then it was going to be another one that I'm sure that they're going to have an issue with, believe it or not, because of the term Holocaust. I know, because I'm going into some other stuff that's actually disapproving some other stuff. And, I had to put a little pause on there because their algorithm is picking up everything that I'm stating by their way of the closed captioning. So I'm going to save that for a separate one as well, too. So I'm going to move on to another one. Let me see. Let me just double check. Okay, his other pick. Well, no, incorrect. Let me not say this was his other pick. It technically wasn't. But then again, people are going to associate Donald Trump with this guy named Mitch McConnell. I'm not sure if, you guys are familiar with this guy, but he's been in politics forever. But he's been voted in as the head of the Rules Committee for the Senate. Like, that is the most powerful position in the Senate. And that's the problem. Okay? Because he's still in there, and some Republicans that disagree with Donald Trump will shut stuff down at the Senate based off of this Mitch McConnell guy. Yeah, he an old guy. He barely can have a conversation. I'm glad you brought that up. He barely can have a conversation. He barely can keep himself like aware of his surroundings. Like, he old. Like, you could tell he got probably Alzheimer's and all of that. But that just lets you know that that's a problem, because more people that want to get something done that's against Donald Trump, that is a Republican, and they want to say, for example, get something done or stop something from happening, with him being, okay, the puppet for the most powerful position in the Senate, they could get it done. They could block certain things like that. Okay, and that's a problem. I'm going to gather up some more videos, and I'll do a quick little video inside of another video that correlate with him. Probably that one dealing with the anti-Semitism that they're gonna have an issue with. I'm telling you what it was because that's what the Christie girl. I'm gonna put this one inside of that video. I'm gonna put those two together. Actually, two. Let me put those two together, make the other one separate because even though it's similar, it's on a different topic. So I'll do it like that. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to bring up. I don't have a video to play for you to let you know how Mitch McConnell is, but he's not there. Like he's too old. He shouldn't be in politics. Okay, he shouldn't be. But that just lets you know that he's more likely to be controlled by somebody that has his ear, that's close to him. They know how to manipulate this guy already. Or, maybe he doesn't do anything. They just pretend like he does, And that's going to be a problem because, again, he has the highest position. He's the head of the Rules Committee of the Senate. He's as old as Biden, yeah. Yeah, but his condition, like if you remember how Biden is, his condition is worse. Like, I mean, with him being old, he old. Like, it's just that. It's just straight up that he old. But aren't there actors and clones? I'm not denying that. I'm not denying that. But this particular person that we're referring to doesn't have anything like that. Like, he doesn't have a mouthpiece. I mean, meaning that he doesn't have an actor playing as him. He ain't even moving his mouth. Like, but there's a guy, the senator of South Dakota that put him in that position too. His name was John. I believe his last name is pronounced Thune, if I'm not mistaken. But he was the senator of South Dakota. So I'm going to get into that because he's a Republican as well, by the way. Y'all just got to understand that certain things were leading up to trying to prevent Trump from becoming president. And I saw that, I was aware that, and I was trying to tell people, hey, listen, they ain't playing games. Both sides, though, not just the Democrats, both sides playing games trying to stop Trump from, being inaugurated January 20th. So for all the Trumpers out there, just to let y'all know, I don't want you guys to fall for anything that they'll try to plan. Like, for example, we already see that they tried to do something to Russia to cause an issue. So Trump gonna have to, take the majority of his time probably within his first year to handle that situation. They trying to make it more difficult for him in every step of the way. Like they're trying to heads up, they're going to be using the 14th Amendment on him. I played a couple of those videos. This was a couple of months back. You could just check out my videos of Donald Trump or check out my videos of Kamala or the Democrat Party if you want to get hipped on that. I'm not going to go into that, right here. But they are already planning to do certain things like cause riots. Okay. And I showed you in another video that they're already posting flyers out there in Washington, D.C. to recruit people to get, to cause confusion. Okay. Raise ruckus, causing uproar, all out war. To go back to the thumbnail, they want the Civil War to happen. Okay. To go back to that. I mean, that's a movie. If you guys didn't get a chance to check that out, that's basically the South versus the North. Okay. Technically, the way you look at it, but the thing is that you don't know what caused it. Like, that's the thing about that film. You don't know what caused the Civil War to happen. You just know it was two sides. Okay. And they wanted to take over the White House. And yeah, and the undertone, you were following the storyline based off of how the reporters reported what was going on both sides. Okay. They even, got to the point where they were trying to talk to certain people out there, like asking them, how are they American? And, and they were being threatened for that. Okay. Their lives were on the line based off of how they were answering that question. If you didn't see the movie, I'm not going to give it away. But, people were focused on trying to have a different type of government from the government that was already at play. And at the end of the video it was it was a very big message. And Donald Trump was a part of it, meaning Donald Trump's aura. They were trying to make the president at that time look like Trump. And, just a big message right there, man. If y'all didn't get a chance to see that film, it's out there. It came out this year, believe it or not. It came out this year. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix or not, but I believe it. It did hit the movie theaters, but I believe it should be on Prime and something like that at least. But it's called Civil War. Okay, it was a few movies like that trying to indicate that something was on the horizon, but that's why I don't want you guys to get tied up into the part where they want you to be afraid, because if anything, we shouldn't have to be in that nature of thinking. If anything, you should just be aware. That's why I always try to bring awareness. It's about being prepared rather than repaired after the damage is already done. So I'm about bringing that awareness to, hey, this, you know what I'm saying? So you can at least make your own decision back at home with your own family. Like, all right, we got to do what we got to do. Pack this up, pack that up. Make sure this is there, this is that. Go to the gun range, get trained. I'm just saying, there's a lot of people out there that know how to, they claim they know how to shoot a gun, but there's nothing like you going up against somebody that's been going to the range, actually been getting trained. Well, all it takes is one bullet to get rid of you, not the whole clip. Okay, so just a heads up, you may want to start brushing up on your skills, because at the same time, it was so many other movies like American Refugee. That's another one indicating that something happened and the people went berserk. They never told you what happened. You just saw the people go berserk. Everybody was against everybody. Neighbor versus neighbor. I mean, what was Obama's movie? Leave the World Behind. You don't know what happened. Everybody went berserk. I mean, you just saw things go. It was just chaos, right? There's multiple movies like that where they just show you that the Americans went irate. Okay, but it's always good to just be prepared. Just be prepared and focus on that. I'm about positivity over here, so I'm just going to leave you on this note. I love you all. Thank you all that supported the stream. Thank you all that became members. Thank you all that became subscribers. If you're new to the channel, go ahead. I'm going to do things like this in the course of American history because this is still American history. When I cover topics like this is still yesterday was history. Day before yesterday was history. We're making history right now. With us speaking with each other, that's why it's about awareness, because even though they may call people like me conspiracy theorists, I take that as a heads up. Like, hey, man, that boy know what he talking about. I take that as like a thank you. The reason why is because I'm trying to let people know about certain plans that are not out there in the open, so those plans won't come into motion. We don't want those things to happen. So get everybody aware of it to distract them from making it happen one way that we know it was going to happen. So if they try to do it again, they're going to have to do it a different way. Okay? That's not only stopping or preventing certain things from happening, okay, but that's saving people's lives. All right? Even if we delay them, that's saving people's lives right there. More people got aware within that delayed period. You know what I'm saying? We made them delay 5G. Everybody was coming out there letting them know how serious 5G was. And they was giving everybody the stem shafts. We still losing people. Oh my goodness, people and their families still dying. I'm not trying to leave on that negative note, but that still played an effect on people. Okay? Get everybody all fear-mongered up. And it was the news doing the fear-mongering. Getting everybody to take, man. Anyway, I love y'all. I love y'all dearly. I'm not playing. Y'all can do me a favor. But before you on your way out right there, as you putting your shoes back on and you about to walk out the door, leave a like on this video. I appreciate that. I'm gonna see y'all next time. Wado. I'm just here to make you think. Slow down. Yeah. Sub up like